Therefore, you go there for 10 days and 10 दिनसम्म you can't speak, no phones, no books, no this program called Sadhana Bhada, which is a 7-month residential program. It's not about the quantity of food you eat, but the quality of food. But yoga भन्ने बित्तिकै stretching, twisting, we realize how important it is. Soil. सबै कुरा warदेखि लिएर यो global climate change, everything is human issue.
So, episode 2, welcome, Dinesh Dai.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming आजको लागि. So, let's हल्का हजुरको introduction हल्का चाहिँ.
So, मेरो नाम चाहिँ दिनेश रोका. So, Camberleyमा बस्छु, not far from where you live. अहिले चाहिँ right now we have a business, online business called Hempnath. So, हामी चाहिँ a family business हो हैन. हजुर. So मैले मेरो wife अनि my sister-in-law. So we kind of handled everything together. And basically we started 2019 and I think it's going fairly well.
हजुर हजुर. हेमनाथ मैले देख्न चाहिँ देखेको थिएँ तर अहिलेसम्म चाहिँ केही त्यस्तो ल्याएको चाहिँ छैन. होपफुली सुन. तर मैले चाहिँ फलो चाहिँ गरेको थिएँ हैन हेमनाथको जर्नी चाहिँ. तर रियली इन्ट्रेस्टिङ क्लिप्सहरू चाहिँ छ. त्यो हजुरले प्रमोट गर्दा नयाँ प्रोडक्टहरू यताउता हैन. तर हेमनाथको कुरा गर्नु पर्दा दाइ के अरे इज ए म फोकस क्लाइन्ट वाइज चाहिँ युकेतिर कि नेपालतिर कि all over the world?
It's more focused on UK client.
Okay.
Because it's based in UK, so it's easier हैन. अब प्रोडक्टहरू सप्लाई गर्दा नि सजिलो भयो डेलिभरी वाइज अनि फुलफिलमेन्ट वाइज सबै. अनि I think UK is a good market. But we do also like कहिले बाहिरबाट नै आउँछ, युरोप, US अरू ठाउँबाट नै आउँछ. नेपालबाट पनि मेसेजहरू आइरहेको छ तर अलिकति त्यहाँ फुलफिल गर्न चाहिँ गाह्रो छ.
नेपालभन्दा चाहिँ बढी युकेमै. हजुर. ओके. सो हेमनाथको दाइ आइडिया आएको चाहिँ हजुरबाट हो कि कोबाट हो?
So I think I would give credit to our partner. Ramana Baini, who said Nepal got I think 2018 and then she started talking about this hemp and hemp products. Until I think before that I had done some research on hemp and I was so fascinated by like the whole idea about how eco-friendly hemp is and how sustainable it is. For people who don't know about hemp, basically hemp is comes from a cannabis sativa family, same as marijuana or what people like to call weed. So it comes from the same family, but the only difference is hemp is known as industrial hemp because it can be used for different varieties of things. And it has THC level is less than 0.3%. So THC is a chemical that basically it's responsible for making you high. So hemp doesn't have that level of THC that can make you high, which is why it's good for industrial use. Whereas marijuana is like it's pretty much same as hemp, but it has a higher THC level.
So hemp भनेको त दाइ मैले सुने अनुसार इज इट भाङ नेपालमा?
I think
hemp भन्छ, hemp seeds भन्छ हैन?
I think marijuana, bhang, I think they're very similar, isn't it? Bhang is similar to bhang, but it doesn't have that same level of THC which makes you high. So I think marijuana, bhang, weed are very similar.
हजुर. त नेपालमा हुन्छ नि त्यो भाङको के त्यो सानो डल्लोहरू त्यसलाई नि हेम्प भन्दो रहेछ के यहाँ?
I think so.
हजुर. Just is more based on उत्यो टाइप हैन दाइ नेचर टाइपको.
Yeah, I found out like the plant is so versatile and it is one of the fastest growing plant and it's been in use for the longest time, like thousands of years ago people have started using hemp. So it's been in the longest use and the benefits are so eco-friendly, sustainable. That is why it's like the perfect plant for a sustainable product, which is why we went for it. And नेपालमा कति hemp product पाउँछ नि, like काठमाडौँतिर, ठमेलतिर हैन, you see it everywhere हैन. And we kind of wanted that outside of Nepal हैन, in a different package, in a different way, not like the same old way but different natural way, more simple, and that's what we focused on, simplicity and sustainability.
Right. So हेमनाथ खोल्नु भएको चाहिँ कति वर्ष जति भयो?
2019, like mid 2019, but we started the website September ma.
हजुर हजुर अहिलेसम्म चाहिँ राम्रो भइरहेछ
Yeah, it's a slow growth, I know. But we're happy. We don't have any staff. Everything is like tinjanle garira chaina. And we have our own like full-time jobs, and this is like a part-time thing. So considering how much time and effort we put in, I think it's doing fairly well.
Okay. So Hempnath start को साटा हजुरले भर्खर भन्नुभयो नि त फुल टाइम जबहरू हजुरले चाहिँ अब यसलाई चाहिँ एज अ हबी टाइपको जसरी हैन त्यो त्यो अनुसारले नि हो खोल्नु भएको
I wouldn't say hobby, because hobby would be more like alikiti leisurely or not serious, हैन. I think this is a kind of serious business, and we have aims to plant trees for forest rejuvenation, which we are already doing. Eden reforestation partnership, so if you were to buy a product from Hempnath, you would be planting 3 trees for every order. So far we planted like 9,400 plus trees. And we provided 115 work days for the people, because what Eden does is they hire villages to plant the trees, and they get paid. So we're kind of helping in job opportunities for the marginalized community, and also planting trees, which is good for the environment.
Okay. So यो यो सामानहरु चाहिँ बन्ने छ नि यो चाहिँ सबै यहाँ युकेमै बन्छ कि
No, we all our products are sourced नेपालबाट हैन. हाम्रो त्यो मेन प्लान्ट चाहिँ उता मिड वेस्टर्न नेपालबाट आउँछ, which is like बजाङ बाजुरा रोल्पाबाट. त्यहाँदेखि चाहिँ प्लान्ट त्यहाँदेखि आउँछ, एन्ड देन काठमाडौँमा गएर चाहिँ त्यहाँ चाहिँ प्रोडक्सन हुन्छ नि, टेलरिङ एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ एल्स, विभिङ टेलरिङ सबै काठमाडौँमा हुन्छ.
Kind of long process.
Yeah, and then it gets shipped to UK, and then we do everything after that.
आफूले गर्नु पर्दैन each individual. Okay. So मैले चाहिँ हजुरलाई इन्स्टाबाट फलो गरेको जस लामै भयो since my business started हैन, which was 2019 तिर. अनि हजुर चाहिँ इन्डिया जानुभएको थियो नि हजुर.
Yeah, I did. So I came back in March,
just
last
recently.
year. Last year, March 2022. Okay. So I was there for 9 months. And then I'm back. Everyone was wondering like, oh my, like your manchi forget right? Because I was there for quite a long time, and some people were worried.
कस्तो भयो इन्डियाको एक्सपिरियन्स?
I would say it's one of a kind. Completely out of the world, because it's like completely different to what I've experienced so far, I know. But the environment wise, the people, like the daily routine, everything, the experience is like completely different. And I think this is something I would remember for the rest of my life.
So त्यो भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ हजुर चाहिँ अब लाइक त्यो हेमनाथ र नर्मल वर्क गरिराख्नु भयो नि त हैन? But what made you decided to do this? Like पहिलेबाट गर्न मन लाग्यो कि हजुरलाई कि?
Kind of. I've always had त्यो हुन्छ नि त्यो एउटा इन्ट्रेस्ट चाहिँ छ कि स्पिरिचुअलिटीमा, अनि मेडिटेसन गरिराख्थेँ पहिलेदेखि. I've tried many different meditation, हैन. अनि विपासना पनि गए. I don't know if you heard of Vipassana. It's a 10-day residential like silent course. Nepal हैन, यतै युकेमा छ, युरोपमा छ, it's everywhere in like most countries, I think. So you go there for 10 days, हैन, 10 दिनसम्म you can't speak, no phones, no books, no writing, nothing. You just go and meditate for 10 days. I did that for a couple of times. Well, like just go and then you can't even talk to the मान्छेहरु त्यहाँको? Obviously सुरुमा चाहिँ you talk to the staff, हैन. Throughout the 10 days, you can only speak to त्यहाँको त्यो teacher हुन्छ के. There's one teacher that kind of looks after everything. So if you have any questions, queries, you go to him. तर त्यो बाहेक चाहिँ you just meditate all day. Damn. बिहान 4:30 बजे समथिङमा उठ्यो, त्यसपछि मेडिटेसन सुरु.
के रे मेडिटेसनको साथ योगा नि गर्नु हुँदै?
Yoga चाहिँ पछि गरे. So I did that, and then I somehow came across Sadhguruको भिडियोहरु, and I got inspired by what he said, and like the simplicity and how logical everything was, and त्यसपछि I went to some of his programs like the Indian engineering, and I done some yoga asanas, and then I was like just in and out. I wasn't regular. सुरुमा चाहिँ I was pretty regular हैन. त्यसपछि चाहिँ in and out कहिले मात्रै गर्थे. And then pandemic सुरु भयो. Pandemic सुरु भएपछि a lot of my plans were like on hold हैन. त्यसपछि अनि त्यसपछि I think at the time pandemic सुरु भएपछि चाहिँ there's so many things happened about not just in the world, मेरो personal life मा पनि हैन. And I started thinking and reflecting on my own life हैन. के गरिरहेको छु, why am I doing this? I started questioning myself. अनि कति कुराहरू के जस्तै अब why am I reacting like हुन्छ नि as a human being you're always reacting to situation and so you're not in full control. Your mind is running behind and like it's kind of taking control of the whole situation. You're like a slave basically. And then I started questioning myself about how can I change this, and it wasn't easy enough. I started doing like naya routineहरू बिहान उठ्ने exercise गर्ने. It helped a little bit, but that wasn't a permanent solution. And त्यसपछि चाहिँ I somehow came across this program called Sadhana Bhada, which is a 7-month residential program. अनि I was like के हो यो actually curious भएँ हैन. अनि त्यसपछि हेर्न थालेँ. सो हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ I found that it was like the perfect thing I needed at the time. त्यसपछि के गर्ने like I just went down all the way down and fee section मा जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ I was like oh it's free. The food is free, resident accommodation is free, everything is free. You just pay for the expense, traveling, you go there and everything else is free.
This is in India?
Yeah, in India. And then I was like wow. So I spoke to my partner, my wife, and after some conversation they said like we're happy for you to go. And so yeah, this was I applied for it, and then the whole process took like few months. And then I flew to India, and then everything was
so हजुरको यो जर्नीको स्टार्ट गर्न भन्दा अगाडि चाहिँ you would say motivated by Sadhguru. त्यसपछि चाहिँ you chose this because like हजुरको mental भनेको like अब हुन्छ नि धेरै कुरा सोच्ने अब you can call that mental, right? Mental kind of thinking.
I mean this is common to everyone. Some people realize it sooner, some people don't realize it or they ignore it. For me, I've always kind of knew that I needed or everyone needs that break. To like side story, I've always wanted to be not be but kind of live a monk life at least once in my life. And I've come across so many people inspiring people who've lived certain like few years like as a monk, and that always intrigued me and inspired me. And मलाई पनि त्यो एउटा interested थियो के. But I didn't know when or how I'm going to do that. But when that program came up, मलाई चाहिँ like oh this would be obviously I'm not going to be a monk, तर यसले चाहिँ it will give me an opportunity to at least live like a half monk lifestyle because I would be there for a long time हैन. So I would be doing everything what the people there do, like सँगै खाने, सँगै meditation, yoga गर्ने. So that kind of also was an inspiration भनौँ न.
हजुर त्यो के अरे अघि नै मेडिटेसनको कुरा भयो before you went India हैन. त्यसको त्यो मेडिटेसन लिएको एक्सपिरियन्स लिएर बिफोर एन्ड आफ्टर त्यसमा चाहिँ तपाईँलाई कतिको बिग चेन्ज जस्तो लाग्यो लाइक पर्सनली फर योर सेल्फ?
So changes are different level mounts, eh? So let's talk about physical changes. So when I was here after pandemic, not after pandemic, during pandemic, I was like 73, 74 kilos, eh? I was at the highest point in like mero afno life. That was the highest weight I personally had gained. And then after I went to India, त्यहाँ गएपछि अब lifestyle is different. दिनमा 2 चोटि मात्र खान पाउँछ हैन. And then every day you have to do yoga meditation, like बिहान 3-4 घण्टा, बेलुका 2-3 घण्टा हैन. Like in total 6-7 hours you're doing yoga and meditation. After I guess few months there India ma, few months in I lost 7-8 kilos हैन. And then by the time it was 8-9 months, I'd already lost 15 kilos.
Damn.
So I was down to about 58-57 kilos. So physically I was like totally different. My fat percentage, my flexibility, I couldn't even touch my toes properly. And now I can like easily do it. So flexibility, durability, and weight wise, I was very much healthy, flexible. Mentally, I was in a different space. Because when you spend so long in a space focusing on yourself, your inner growth, that's a little different, you feel different, emotion wise you feel different, mental wise you feel different, energy wise you feel different. So there's a lot of changes, but the changes is some changes say permanent हुन्छ हैन, त्यो कुनै changes चाहिँ हुँदैन. Some, for example, your old habits and patterns might change when you're there, but when you come back might you might go back to that old pattern. So which I'm slowly going into right now, and I'm already aware of that, because अब यहाँ बसेपछि यहाँको lifestyle हैन, यहाँको demandले गर्दाखेरि it's difficult to keep up.
Do you think that त्यो चाहिँ I think the people that you're surrounded with?
Definitely people, the environment, and how the whole structure is programmed. There's no one to keep you accountable. There's no one to tell you, okay, you need to wake up at this time, go to bed at this time, do this, do that. There's that accountability. And because, like, gym, you see everyone lifting weight, and you are motivated, inspired. Yoga meditation. And if you don't do, you're like the odd ones.
You feel
like
left out.
Might as well do it. I think peers makes a lot of difference. Who you hang out with, who you surround yourself with, what kind of environment, कतिको productive environment, कतिको harmful. So it depends on all that.
So the हजुरले चाहिँ त्यहाँ खाना 2 time भन्यो नि त हैन, was it like all vegetarian?
100% vegetarian.
No meat at all.
No meat at all.
Okay. So त्यो चाहिँ for 9 months.
For 9 months.
है? Damn.
And I think that's one of the best things that's happened to me. Obviously, I've been vegetarian since 2015, so being a vegetarian is nothing new to me.
Okay.
So there was no problem. But just eating twice a day, सुरुमा चाहिँ I wouldn't say it was a challenge, हैन, तर अलिकति बेला बेलामा त्यो क्रेभिङ हुन्छ नि त. But
sweet केही पाउँदैन.
पाउँछ, पसलबाट किन्न मिल्छ. And sometimes we did spoil ourselves with some sweets, लड्डुहरू यताउता हैन. तर main meal चाहिँ like twice a day, no snacking in between. Maybe sometimes, but it does help.
Because like अब त्यो खास मैले सोध्ने कारण चाहिँ अब सानोबाट हेर्दाखेरि अब monk लाइफहरू चाहिँ सधैँ it's all about like vegetarianहरू मात्र हैन, there's no meat allowed, this type को त्यो भएर. अनि तर त्यो 2 meals पनि अब like फर्स्टमा त स्ट्रगल भयो नि त हैन, त्यो गर्नलाई के अरे ब्यालेन्स गर्नलाई बाहिरको लाइफस्टाइलबाट त्यहाँ सिधै जाँदाखेरि.
Yes and no. Struggle. I would, let's be honest. I wasn't struggling a lot in terms of food. The 2 meals were sufficient for me, because it's not about the quantity of food you eat, but the quality of food. So if you're eating quality food but less amount of food, that is better than eating a lot of food but bad quality of food. Does that make sense? So when I was there, I was eating like 100% vegetarian, organic, farm grown, locally grown foods, so if you're consuming that kind of food, that got vitamins, the level of vitamins, the proteins, micronutrients is like enormously high compared to what you get in the supermarkets. So you're getting a lot of nutrients already with that meal, so you don't need to consume more than what you need, your body needs basically.
So त्यहाँ जाँदा चाहिँ I guess त्यो एक्सपिरियन्समा त डिफ्रेन्ट कन्ट्रीबाट डिफ्रेन्ट मान्छेहरू आउँछ होला नि त हैन?
Yeah, in our program alone there was 1,000 plus students from over 50 countries. Damn. The youngest one, from what I heard, is I think there was someone from France, a girl from France. She was 16 or 18. I don't know exactly what. And there was one Nepali guy. She was 17 or 18 years old. He just like finished his college, and then he came.
Nepal,
so inspiring to see young people there, whereas they could have been doing anything, relaxing, playing games or whatever, clubbing, but they're there focusing on their inner growth is like very inspiring.
So you like whole experience is Sadhguru ko udyo?
So Isha Foundation is the foundation that Sadhguru started a long time ago. Now the full-time volunteers, they look after the organization. Sadhguru is just there to some guide or to basically he's like the leadership, like vision dinne ani lead गर्ने मान्छेहरुलाई, but he doesn't run the day-to-day activities. There are full-time volunteers that's been running that organization for the last 20-30 years. And they're very capable people, like they come from different business background. They're not like random people, and there are over 1 million volunteers, full-time, part-time, including in the world.
So I guess different places ma different त्यस्तै छ होला हैन.
Yeah, it's everywhere. In US, there's another center. It's massive, hundreds of acres. And the one I went was in Tamil Nadu, in Coimbatore. And again, there's that one is very massive space, like hundreds of acres. So it's like when you go in, it's like a little town in its own right. Because there are shops, there are hospitals, massage centers, grounds, like forests, everything.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting.
कति भन्नुभयो मान्छेहरु 1000
in our program alone 1000 जना थियो हैन. If you include the full times, the general volunteers, the part time volunteers, and त्यहाँको paid people हुन्छ नि villages हरु, you're looking around 4000 people.
तपाईं त्यो एक्सपीरियन्स मा हुँदाखेरि
4,000 around 4,000 people in that yoga center at any one point. But at peak times during like, for example, I think Mahashivratri is coming in February. At peak times there could be double the size, 8,000, even 10,000. As in New Era matra, around like 1 lakh sana manchehru थियो basically. Just visiting the site. Like thousands of people come in and go out like every single day.
Or just to see.
Yeah, but there are different visiting sites. There are temples so they come to visit the temples. They come for the program. Some people come there for volunteering. So people are always in and out. Very active place. Or every day something is happening.
Okay.
Never dull.
तर त्यो सबै मान्छेहरु भन्नुभयो नि हजुरले 4000 कति त्यो सबै दे गो सेम हजुरको त्यस्तो के रे लाइक रुल्सहरु जस्तो बिहान उठेर योगा गर्ने मेडिटेसन के लाइक सर्टेन मान्छेहरु मात्र हुन्छ.
Obviously there are different programs running at one point हुन्छ नि अनि सबैको स्केड्युलहरु slightly vary गर्छ. तर as a general rule of thumb pretty much everyone wakes up similar time मा के. So our waking time would be around 4:30ish in the morning. But some people who are extra motivated हुन्छ नि तिनीहरु चाहिँ 3 बजे 3:30 बजे उठेर योगा सुरु गरेछ. So by the time I go start my yoga, some people already finished the yoga. Okay. So that's how crazy some people are.
Damn, right? That's a good experience. तर 4:30 बजे उठ्ने भनेको चाहिँ मेरो लागि चाहिँ that's impossible.
Not me as well because म त 7-8 बजे 9 बजे उठ्ने मान्छे हैन. तर I think when I went there I had a अलिकति different kind of motivation थियो ममा चाहिँ.
सबै जना हैन उठ्छ नि त. So like योगा चाहिँ बिहान उठ्ने बित्तिकै हुन्छ?
Yeah.
Okay. So त्यो योगाको चाहिँ लाइक तपाईले पहिल्यैदेखिबाट योगा गर्नुहुन्थ्यो कि त्यही गरेर मात्र start गर्नु?
So I did start 2018 मा सुरु गरेँ मैले which मैले एउटा प्रोग्राम गरेको थिएँ त लन्डन पनि यता लन्डनमा थियो कि एउटा सेन्टर. अहिले चाहिँ I think after pandemic they couldn't sustain that रेन्टहरु. So अहिले चाहिँ त्यहाँ छैन. I think they will open up soon again. तर त्यतिखेर चाहिँ त्यहाँ एउटा सेन्टर थियो. So I went there to do my 2-day yogasana course. Basically yoga उहरु के पोस्चरहरु. So त्यहाँ गएर सिके अनि yeah I started doing from 2018. तर I wasn't regular. तर त्यहाँ इन्डियामा गएपछि चाहिँ अब you have to be regular.
त त्यो I guess हजुरको लाइफस्टाइलमा नि हल्का बिग चेन्ज लिएर आउँछ होला नि हैन लाइक कन्टिन्यू त्यो 9 मन्थसम्म गर्दाखेरि अब ब्याक आउँदाखेरि ब्याक युके आएपछि हैन जुके लाइक तपाईको लाइफस्टाइलमा you have to fit that in.
Yeah, you have to fit that in, and it's difficult because the yogas are not ekdam choto हुँदैन के. I wish it was like 10-15 minutes but it's like minimum is half an hour to 1 to 2 hours and even more हैन सबै कम्बाइन गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ. So it's difficult.
अहिले नि गरिराख्नु हुन्छ ब्याक आइस लास्ट टाइम
म गरिराख्छु. Like I said I'm not every day चाहिँ गर्न भ्याउँदैन किनभने कहिले काम बिहान सुरु हुन्छ हैन त्यसले गर्दा चाहिँ भ्याउँदैन. तर छुट्टीमा चाहिँ I always do. सजिलोको जहिले गरेर हुन्छु. काम भएको बेलामा चाहिँ whatever I can I will do. बिहान सक्यो भने कामबाट फर्केर सक्यो भने.
हजुरले के रे फ्यामिली अथवा दिदीहरुलाई नि सिकाउनुहुन्छ? गर भन्नुहुन्छ?
I encourage that I never force and I don't teach because कुनै कुराहरु चाहिँ you're not qualified to teach. Okay, for example, yoga. Like, if I want to teach yoga, I would have to learn and become a teacher or trainer. No? So if I teach it earlier, I might harm them, or they might harm themselves if I teach the wrong thing.
Okay. But then they don't tell you like मलाई नै हल्का सिको म नि गर्छु or like हल्का interested to
कोही साथीहरूले भन्छ होइन ओ सिकाउने होइन ओ सिक्न मन छ भन्छ होइन तर अब मैले चाहिँ सधैँ भन्छु कि यु माइट एज वेल डु इट प्रपरली गर्ने हो भने चाहिँ होइन प्रपर ट्रेनिङै गर्ने हो गर्ने भने चाहिँ पक्का कोर्सै गर ट्रेनिङमा जाऊ होइन बट डोन्ट जस्ट लाइक यत्तिकै ट्राई गर्छु भनेर त्यस्तो गर्नुभन्दा चाहिँ डु इट प्रपरली भनेर भन्छु कि मैले
सो दाइ त्यो के भन्छ त्यो युट्युबतिर त्यो 15 मिनट्स योगा त्यस्तो भन्ने त्यो भिडियोहरू हुन्छ नि त्योसँग रिलेट गर्दाखेरि डिफ्रेन्स चाहिँ के छ जस्तो लाग्यो लाइक त्यो तपाईँको एक्सपिरियन्स र नर्मल मान्छे हुन्छ नि एउटा युट्युबमा फर इक्जाम्पल होइन डु 15 मिनट्स योगा विथ मी त्यस्तो टाइपको
इट्स अ गुड इन्ट्रोडक्सन लेभल होइन फर इक्जाम्पल अब तिमीले कोही कोही मान्छेहरूलाई यत्तिकै इन्ट्रोडक्सन एउटा मसाज गरे अथवा लाइक सम सोर तिमीले प्रोभाइड गर्ने सर्भिसहरू अब हल्का यु डोन्ट गिभ देम द फुल थिङ बट यु जस्ट लाइक ट्रेलर जस्तै हुन्छ नि ओ लाइक मुभी हेर्दाखेरि ट्रेलर देखाउँछ नि सो त्यो प्रोग्रामहरू चाहिँ अब युट्युबमा गर्ने प्रोग्रामहरू चाहिँ लाइक अ ट्रेलर होइन अभियसली कुनै कुनै अलिक एक्सटेन्सिभ पनि हुन्छ होइन कुनै कुनै त्यहाँ भिडियोजहरू बट मोस्टली इट्स जस्ट लाइक इन्ट्रोडक्सन के वेयर इज द वान आई डु इज लाइक बिफोर यु even start doing it on your own, you have to spend at least certain amount of hours practicing first, so that everything you're doing is like proper technique. Yoga doesn't always mean like benefit. Sometimes you might harm yourself more than you do. It does good to you. So what I do is more well structured, well practiced, safe panum na
okay
and also the mindset that you go into it is different as well rather than like 10 minute exercise garchu compared to that you just go into it with different intent, different mindset.
तबले के रे पहिला नेपालमा बस्दाखेरि अथवा युकेमा हुँदाखेरि रामदेवको बारेमा सुन्नु थियो त रामदेव
I know Ramdev.
Do you think he's related to Sadhguru?
He's not related to Sadhguru, but they know each other.
Oh, they know each other.
Yeah, but he's been doing that for like decades now, Ramdev Baba, and yeah, he's what they're doing is they're pretty similar. Hatha yoga ko bitra under that umbrella there's like a lot of things. Breathing technique or dekhi lera yoga is like not simple. हामीले योगा भन्ने बित्तिकै stretching twisting त्यो देख्छ नि हैन but yoga is not that. It's like saying you know like science हुन्छ नि science is like it's a word but under that science there's so many different branches हुन्छ नि there's physics, biology, chemistry and there's astronomy. Everything comes under science हैन so yoga is like that. Under yoga there's so many different branches. Hatha yoga ani meditation dhyan गर्ने that's a different branch हैन so it's like a huge subject. Yoga is not just physical stretching and twisting
because like मैले सानोबाट हुर्किँदाखेरि बजेलाई रामदेव फलो गरेको हेर्थेँ हैन अनि त्यो बेला अब सुत्दाखेरि हाँसेको आवाज सुन्ने क्या फाइनली द्याट्स मेन्ट टु हेल्प विथ द के अरे हेल्थ भनेर अनि हाँस्यो अनि नाक सास फेर्ने होइन अनि त्यो रामदेव कस्तो पेट स्याप तर रामदेवको मैले पहिला नै हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यो मान्छेको चाहिँ फलोवर्स कति धेरै क्या लाइक ठुलो स्पेस होइन अनि सब त्यहाँ आएर त्यो ओछ्याएर सबले रामदेवलाई फलो हान्ने हेर्दाखेरि त क्या ठुलो मान्छे होइन बट आई गेस हि इज क्वाइट बिग होइन तर अहिले आएर चाहिँ रियलाइज भयो नि त लाइक कतिको इम्पोर्टेन्स छ योगा भन्ने लाइफमा भनेर
he's big. He's Nepal, India, he's big. उसको त आफ्नै उ पनि छ ब्रान्ड पनि छ I think his brand is called नामै बिर्सेँ दिमागमा so he's got a brand हैन अनि उसको डिफ्रेन्ट मेडिसिनहरू पनि छ के under that brand and he's pretty big.
Okay. के अरे यस्तो यो तपाईँ जानुभएको त्यो के भन्छ एक्सपिरियन्स जस्तो होइन नेपालमा पनि छ दाइ have you done research?
Yeah, plenty. मैले भने नि Vipassana, which I went to 10 day.
हजुर
नेपालमा पनि छ, नेपालमा अर्को पनि छ, अर्को चाहिँ ओशो भन्ने अर्को छ नि त, पहिले योगी थियो नि त, इज पास्ट अवे नाउ, बट उसको प्रोग्रामहरू स्टिल रन हुन्छ त्यहाँ, विपासना प्रोग्रामहरू रन हुन्छ, अनि लाइक अरू रिट्रिट्सहरू, मेडिटेसन योगा रिट्रिट्सहरू भइरहेको छ. लाइक इफ यु लुक इन टु इट रिसर्च, लाइक नेपालमा देयर सो मेनी त्यस्तो कुराहरू के पहिलेदेखि, बिकज नेपाल इज अ भेरी स्पिरिचुअल कन्ट्री नि त, and it's always been there in the culture.
हजुर के अरे अब चाहिँ त्यो हजुरले अघि हामी पोडकास्ट स्टार्ट भन्दा अगाडि हल्का सोइलको बारेमा कुरा गर्थ्यो होइन,
के को बारेमा?
सोइलको बारेमा.
ए सोइल, म त सोल भनेर कहिले कुरा गरेँ?
सोइलको बारेमा चाहिँ म त्यति साह्रो चाहिँ थाहा छैन, तर आई गेस त्यो एक्सपिरियन्स पनि त्यसको बारेमा नि हल्का भयो होला नि हजुरको होइन.
So yeah, I was accidentally kind of got into it because त्यहाँ चाहिँ
सेफ सोइल
the early 2020 मा चाहिँ 2022 लास्ट इयरको सुरुमा चाहिँ सोइल मुभमेन्ट सुरु भयो के. सो ईशा फाउन्डेसनले इनिसिएट गरेको होइन, अनि देन we were like inadvertently got into that movement because हामीलाई पनि थाहा थिएन सुरुमा त होइन, तर once we got to know more about it, we were like pretty excited, किनभने we realized how important it is, soil and the issue around soil, how important it is. But can I just ask you a few things?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Okay, this is like a not a visualization exercise, but I just want you to imagine that you are. So let me take you in the future, like you're 22 years into the future, and it's 2045. Okay. It's 2045, and the population only 8 billion China. So population has risen to 9.4 billion, which is true because that's what scientists say.
Yeah.
And the food produced has gone down by 40%. So the population has gone up. The production of food has gone down to 40%. And that's not all. What's happening is there's different issues going on: climate change, and food scarcity, water scarcity. Hey, there's loss of biodiversity. There's so many things happening, and that's causing massive migration from people from rural areas to cities and to other developed countries. And imagine like conflict and wars is like a daily thing. Now let me ask you a question. Would you want to live in that world where population is like 9.4 billion and food production is gone down and there's wars and conflicts and like every possible issues going on in the world?
I don't think so.
Let me put it another way. Would you want your children or your grandchildren to live in that world? What if I told you, हामी चाहिँ अहिले त्यो डिरेक्सनमा गइरहेको छ के, where by 2045 scientists are expecting that we will produce 40% less food, and obviously population will grow to 9 point something billion, and in that world it's going to be a lot different, because when people are hungry, they are willing to do anything. They're willing to steal, fight, and even kill people.
Basically war just there.
Yeah, basically. And this isn't the first time it's happening or will happen. If you look back in the history, it's been happening so many times. The Roman Empire, civilization empires, they went all down because of famine, lack of food, lack of arable land or agriculture gone nominal land. If you look at African history, and so many wars and conflict is directly connected to famine and food scarcity and fight for the land. So what you're seeing or looking at is a world where you don't want to live in. But we can change that if we take action earlier. If we make the right changes, right policy in the government policy, but if we don't do anything, then we're heading to like a worst kind of disaster that you can imagine. So that's what soil movement is all about: gathering people's attention to the problem of soil and how the soil is dying in a crazy rate, and make sure that this message is spread to at least 4 billion people, so that right policy change could happen in every single country in the like in 193 countries. Its main aim say to bring the organic soil content up to 3 to 6%, minimum 3 to 6%, because you're from a health background, I know. And I'm sure you'll agree with me. The food that we consume is directly connected to how healthy we are, right? But how do we decide the quality of food? The quality of food is decided upon what kind of soil the food is growing. And कस्तो सोइलमा चाहिँ त्यो फुड ग्रो गर्छ त, अनि त्यो सोइलको क्वालिटी कसरी डिसाइड हुन्छ, त्यो सोइलको अर्ग्यानिक कन्टेन्ट कस्तो छ. इफ इट्स लो देन अभियसली त्यो फुडको क्वालिटी पनि लो भयो होइन. इफ इट्स हाई द फुड क्वालिटी इज हाई. सो अहिले चाहिँ साइन्टिस्ट आर सेइङ लाइक मोस्ट सोइल्स तिनीहरूको अर्ग्यानिक कन्टेन्ट इज बिलो 2% क्या. But we want at minimum 3 to 6% so that the food can be really good quality. Just to give you an example, what अहिले होइन हामीले orange के अहिले हामीले 8 orange खानुपर्छ के to get the same amount of vitamin that our grandparents used to consume. So हाम्रो grandparents ले चाहिँ एउटा orange खानु पर्थ्यो भने अहिले हामीले 8 orange खानुपर्छ to get the same level of vitamin. So that's how the nutrition level यति घटेको छ कि, because it's directly connected to the degradation of soil नि त. And people don't realize how important soil is. We talk about other issues, climate change, but all that is directly connected to the soil, because soil is the biggest carbon sink besides oceans. It carbon dioxide absorb गर्छ नि त होइन. But if we destroy the soil, it releases the carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, and that will cause global warming, climate change, and all that. So everything is connected. Every big issue in the world is directly connected to soil.
Okay. So त्यो कहिलेको दोकानतिर जाँदाखेरि हुन्छ नि त त्यो के अरे अर्ग्यानिक भनेर भेजिटेबल्सहरू, do you think that's all crap? कि लाइक मार्केट बढाउनलाई मात्र अर्ग्यानिक बनाएको?
I think mostly it's marketing.
Business.
Mostly marketing. There might be some truth to it. But no scientists have gone to their farm and measured the organic content, so we never know कतिको क्वालिटीको soil छ अथवा कतिको organic छ भनेर. I think it's mostly marketing, but there might be few companies who are actually doing it.
यो त मैले आफूले चाहिँ गरेको छैन, तर apparently I heard from clients is like fruit and vegetables, अथवा like spinach, whatever you call it, होइन. त्यहाँ माथि चाहिँ त्यो किरा सिरा नलाओस् भनेर के छर्ने क्या,
पेस्टिसाइड्स, इन्सेक्टिसाइड्स.
तर लाइक अप्यारेन्टली त्यसले म भनेको चाहिँ के थियो भने तातो पानी होइन, अलिकति मन तातो पानी, अनि त्यसपछि त्यो भिजाइराख्यो भने एकछिनपछि के चिप्लो चिप्लो कुरा निस्किन्छ अरे क्या माथि टप अफ द वाटर. आई हेभ नेभर ट्राइड इट होइन, मैले ट्राई त गर्छु, तर अब त्यस्तो छ भन्छ अरे क्या. सो अर्ग्यानिक र अर्ग्यानिक नभएको डिफ्रेन्स चाहिँ त्यो हो भन्छ है, तर अब कतिको सत्य चाहिँ थाहा छैन मलाई.
सो पेस्टिसाइड्स, इन्सेक्टिसाइड्स त्यसले चाहिँ अब obviously it factors in होइन कतिको अर्ग्यानिक अनअर्ग्यानिक, but that's like just a small part. Mainly the organic quality of fruits or vegetables is determined by the quality of soil that it was grown into. Pesticides, insecticide त्यसले चाहिँ अब obviously destroy गर्न सक्छ नि त होइन. अब राम्रै सोइलमा ग्रो गरे पनि इफ यु पेस्टिसाइड त्यो केमिकल्सहरू छर्यो भने त obviously it affects the quality of food, and it poison गर्छ.
Plus the human body.
And the human body, yeah, you consume it, so it becomes poisonous.
तर long term it's not very good, no.
So yeah, it's when you go into that subject, it's a different whole story, so let's not go into that. But yeah, to put it simply, quality of soil equals to quality of food. So if you want, and let me add another one, and quality of food equals to the quality of health. So they're all directly connected. If you want to improve your health, you need to also improve soil health. If you neglect that, but you don't just focus on your health, you're just looking at the symptom, not the source of the cause.
So soil को save soil भन्ने चाहिँ छ नि त क्याम्पेन अथवा whatever, right? तर त्यसलाई how do we actually save soil?
Going back to like soilमा के I didn't know a lot of things अहिले हैन this might come as new to you or new to the audience हैन but there are different levels of soil रहेछ के the top soil भन्छ नि जुन the top soil which is the top 6 to 12 inches of soil that is the most important bit of the soil because that top soil is where 95% of our food comes from and where over 80% of living organisms live हुन्छ नि अनि त्यो टप सोइल डिस्ट्रोय गर्यो भने यु बेसिकली डिस्ट्रोइङ your source of food because agriculture गर्न मिल्दैन literally and all the microorganisms die off so you're killing the bio के अरे biomassहरू so basically destroying everything okay but if you focus on the top soil and focus on increasing the organic content and that is basically improving the quality of soil and how do you do that you focus on making sure like the soil is under shade plenty of trees around it make sure there are enough fertilizers like organic fertilizers not like man-made fertilizers and organic fertilizers भनेको के हो dead plants leavesहरू animal wasteहरू हैन जस्तै अब त्यो दिसा पिसाबहरू हुन्छ हैन those are all good किनभने there has been so many research and you can watch documentaries videosहरू एउटा फार्ममा चाहिँ if you grow food हैन but when you're not growing food तिमीले चाहिँ अब त्यो एनिमलहरू रेज गर्यो भने त्यो एनिमलको वेस्ट छ नि that becomes a fertilizer organic fertilizers and that soil becomes rich in organic content but if you just focus on growing food but you don't put any organic fertilizers then slowly this quality garcha ke so what we're trying to do is using organic way of growing the content organic content that way the quality grows as well
so the population jati high bho त्यति is bad for the soil right because like मान्छेहरु घर बिउ लान्दै जाने यता उता
yes yeah directly and indirectly both it harms population always harms because population भएपछि के चाहियो म फार्म गर्नु पर्यो हैन म प्लाउ गर्नु पर्यो ल्यान्डहरु घर बनाउनु पर्यो हैन obviously मासु खान्छ मान्छेहरुले त्यो मासु कहाँबाट आउँछ एनिमलबाट आउँछ त्यो एनिमलको लागि फेरि छुट्टै ल्यान्ड चाहियो तिनीहरुको लागि ग्रो गर्नलाई हैन हार्भेस्ट गर्नलाई so more people the more degradation to soil or collapse of the soil yeah everything is interconnected okay there's no such thing as an independent problem भन्ने छैन के everything is interlinked and it all comes down to soil if you like look in deep
हजुर तपाईले त्यो पहिला हुँदा नेपालको कोट भन्ने के भन्ने हैन त्यो एउटा छ नि उखान जस्तो के हरियो वन नेपालको धन
yeah
but I feel like अहिलेको सेन्चुरीमा चाहिँ I feel like that's not the case तपाईलाई त्यस्तो लाग्छ
नेपालको केसमा के
like as a personal तपाईँको ओपिनियन बाट हरियो वन नेपालको धन अहिले 2022 मा 2023 मा आएर हैन मलाई चाहिँ पर्सनली उता लाग्छ के लाइक इस पपुलेसन बढ्दै छ सो धेरै रुखहरु हैन सबै ड्यामेज हुँदै यता सो आई फिल लाइक अहिले चाहिँ त्यस्तो भन्न मिल्दैन जस्तो लाग्छ मलाई
आई मीन यु क्यान स्टिल से हैन हरियो वन नेपालको धन भन्न मिल्छ तर त्यही अनुसारको एक्सन हुनु पर्यो त्यही अनुसारको पोलिसी हुनु पर्यो त्यही अनुसारको मान्छेहरुको इन्टेन्सन हुनु पर्यो हैन बट इफ यु आर सेइङ हरियो वन नेपालको धन एन्ड देन यु आर डिस्ट्रोइङ द फरेस्ट एन्ड destroying the soil everything is any the hypocrisy but you're doing opposite to what you're saying so I think it's not wrong to say that there are anusarko action hunu paryo tei anusarko intention tei anusarko projects run garnu paryo but yeah Nepal has huge potential in terms of tinuko forest wise हैन कति माउन्टेनहरु छ कति फरेस्टहरु छ जंगलहरु छ है a lot of potential it's just we need to make use of that potential and preserve mainly soil and forest preserve garnu paryo because soil and forest are directly interlinked if you don't have good soil forest will slowly disappear
तर त्यो सोइलको बारेमा भयो हैन म चाहिँ एउटा नेटफ्लिक्समा एउटा डकुमेन्ट्री जस्तो हेर्थे के गेम चेन्जर्स भन्ने हेर्नुभएको छ तपाईले
है
त्यसमा त्यो त्यसको बारेमा कुरा गर्छ नि लाइक भिगन डायट एन्ड अल दैट स्टफ हैन त्यसपछि एउटा मलाई उ त्यो एकदम राम्रो लाग्यो लाइक त्यो हाउ वी कन्ज्युम एनिमल्सले के कन्ज्युम हान्छ भन्छ लाइक भिगन लाइक अल दैट घाँसहरु के हैन सो त्यसको बारेमा चाहिँ कन्सेप्ट एकदम राम्रो लाग्यो मलाई चाहिँ
There's this big debate about you need to be vegetarian or you need to be eat meat. And then there's there's this opposing force. And one will say like, oh, be vegetarian, one will say eat meat. And I think we need to focus on the bigger picture as to whatever is good for your body, good for the planet, just do that. You know, you can eat whatever you want, but make sure that whatever you're eating is good for our body life and mainly planet life. It's not harming anyone else. And if you're happy with that, and if you think that's you're doing good to your planet and your body, then just do whatever you want.
Definitely. Tada, taking back to COVID times, होइन तपाईँको बिचमा चाहिँ कस्तो लाग्छ कोभिडको लाइक यु नो वी ह्याड द्याट लकडाउनको पिरियड त्यसमा हुँदाखेरि त्यो सबै इन्भाइरोमेन्टल चेन्जेसहरूदेखिबाट लिएर होइन हाउ क्लिन द वाटर वाज जस्ट इन जेनरल हजुरले पनि देख्नुभयो होला न्युजहरूमा कहिलेका त्यो ब्रिज मुनिको वाटर वे मोर क्लियर होइन अनि एनिमल्स वे लाइक कमिङ अफ मोर फ्रिली हाइवेतिर नि हिँड्ने होइन त्यस्तो टाइपको what's your opinion on that, like personally your opinion
about COVID?
As in like personally हाम्रो त्यो लकडाउन भएको चाहिँ होइन but as in like environmental way मा तर of course COVID ले त सबको life made a hell in it.
So there's obviously good things and bad things with everything connected, pros and cons to हुन्छ. COVID wise, if you want to be alikiti focus on the actual facts and it's arguable about whether it's good or bad, but to optimistic way ma heऱ्यो भने चाहिँ yes, it has done some good as well, हैन. Yes, मान्छेको lives are destroyed भयो, businesses destroyed हुन्छ नि, a lot of things went wrong. But on the positive side, there was a pause, and we all need that pause, हुन्छ नि. जस्तै अब मैले बोलिरहेको छु नि त, and then I pause. And that pause is very important, because त्यो pause ले गर्दा चाहिँ it gives you time to breathe, it gives you time to think. And I think we had that pause during pandemic. The pause is a made people think about themselves, their life, their career, family, the environment, mainly family, and how much we need our family support, so family support ko importance tha bhayo, also it helps. It was better for the environment because there weren't a lot of cars, बाटोतिर, human activities are already down bhayo, and when human activities down, nature flourishes, good for animals, good for the trees, plants, a lot of good things in terms of environment.
But personally गर्दा चाहिँ it's not very good.
But we could argue about that. You know, that's a big topic in itself, हुन्छ नि. Some people it was benefit personally पनि, हैन. कसैको business flourish भयो, कसैको career change भयो in a good way, हैन. Some people got a break to do what they wanted to do. त्यो कुराले धेरै कुरा राम्रो भयो.
म त 2019 लकडाउन म अड्के थिएँ नेपालमा त्यो कोभिड हुँदा के.
You were in Nepal?
Yeah, I was in Nepal.
Stuck there?
No, I basically went for एक महिनाको छुट्टीको लागि गएको. तर ठ्याक्क त्यतिखेर होली र शिवरात्रिको दिन थियो. त्यहाँबाट त लकडाउन डिक्लेयर भयो अनि सिधै 8 महिना लकडाउन सिधै
नेपालमा 8 महिना
ब्याग आउनै भएन
है.
त्यो रिटर्न फ्लाइट नभएर के सबै गर्दा पछि 8 महिनापछि बल्ल फर्केको हामी. सो इट वाज अ टफ टाइम मेरो लागि चाहिँ. तर आई गेस इन्भाइरोमेन्ट वाइज चाहिँ अलि मच बेटर, होइन. हजुर त स्पोर्ट्सहरू नि गर्नुहुन्थ्यो नि त हल्का, होइन?
Yeah, basketball has been like one of the main sports that I've been doing, हैन. पहिलेदेखि गर्थेँ. I think from school life I was involved in basketball. अरू स्पोर्ट्स पनि गर्थेँ तर मेनली चाहिँ बास्केटबल थियो. अनि हल्का जिमहरू अहिले यता युके आएपछि.
तर के अरे हजुरले चाहिँ त्यहाँ टाइम इन इन्डियामा हुँदा चाहिँ बास्केटबल खेल्न पाउनुहुन्थ्यो?
No, I wanted to, हैन.
But you wanted to.
गर्न चाहिँ भन्थ्यो तर obviously मेन थिङ चाहिँ त्यहाँ बास्केटबल कोर्ट थिएन.
हजुर.
भलिबल कोर्ट चाहिँ थियो तर that wasn't accessible to us. त्यहाँको स्टुडेन्ट्स त्यहाँको ईसामा नि त्यहाँको स्कुलहरू छ कि ईसा संस्कृति ईसा होम स्कुलहरू अनि आई थिङ्क त्यहाँ चाहिँ स्कुलभित्र चाहिँ छ फेसिलिटिजहरू होइन स्पोर्ट्सको बट आउटसाइड द्याट नट मच फुटबल त जहाँ पनि खेल्न मिल्छ होइन ब्याडमिन्टनहरू बट त्यो पनि नभएर टाइम पनि धेरै थिएन कि स्पोर्ट्सको लागि बिकज वी अलवेज बिजी 20 लाइक कि त योगा मेडिटेसन गरेर हुन्थ्यो कि त खाएर हुन्थ्यो कि त सुतेर हुन्थ्यो कि त भोलिन्टियर्स गरेर हुन्थ्यो होइन कि त अरू एक्टिभिटिजहरू हुन्थ्यो सो वी अलवेज इन्गेज इन सम एक्टिभिटिज
अहिले ब्याक आएपछि त नर्मल रुटिन हो
नर्मल रुटिन जस्तै भनौँ
हजुर आई गेस कामले गर्दा नि मिल्दैन होला नि
नर्मल रुटिन विथ स्लाइट चेन्ज आम लुकिङ टु अलिकति गेट ब्याक टु प्रिभियस रुटिन के इन्डियामा गरेको थियो नि obviously I can't go do the like the whole 4:30 PM 4:30 AM routine होइन I'm trying to like अलिकति be more disciplined
तर त्यो एक्सपिरियन्स चाहिँ एकदमै गुड थियो ओभरअली होइन हजुर लागि तर वुड यु लाइक टु डु एनी अदर एक्सपिरियन्सहरू अथवा कोही मान्छेहरू जान मन लागेकोहरूलाई
definitely I would highly recommend this to everyone. It's like I can't emphasize enough होइन किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ soil movement is based on conscious planet के so that's the main project soil movement is just the offshoot of that होइन conscious planet किन भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ संसारमा जुनै पनि इस्युहरू हेऱ्यो भने होइन if you boil down to it it's a human issue के ह्युमन थिएन भने संसार फ्लरिस हुन्थ्यो क्या आफै हुँदैन तर ह्युमन इस्यु हो क्या सबै कुरा वरदेखि लिएर यो ग्लोबल क्लाइमेट चेन्ज एभ्रिथिङ इज ह्युमन इस्यु किन भयो भन्दाखेरि त पिपल हेभ डिफ्रेन्ट ओपिनियन्स बिलिभ्स होइन देयर इज अलवेज कन्फ्लिक्ट होइन अनि अर्को चाहिँ पिपल आर नट कन्सियस इनफ दे आर नट सेन्सिबल इनफ तर लेट्स से इफ समवन वाज भेरी कन्सियस very sensitive to त्यसको इन्भाइरोमेन्ट होइन आफ्नो सराउन्डिङमा त्यो मान्छेले चाहिँ he would only do what is necessary or what is right but if you're not conscious होइन के हुन्छ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ you kind of go into the rat race all you focus on is like me अब हाम्रो कल्चर कस्तो छ ट्रेडिसन कस्तो छ स्कुल गयो जब गऱ्यो होइन घर किन्यो गाडी किन्यो पैसा एकुमुलेट गर्यो मेक अ फ्यामिली children and then it continues it's a repeating cycle but if you come outside of that and focus on becoming more conscious हुन्छ नि त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ when the whole planet is conscious that's when real change I think will happen but if we only do like patch up jobsहरू few projects here and there then that's like not permanent solution is to make the whole planet conscious and to do that you need to start with yourself to make yourself more conscious and the best way to make yourself conscious is to go in when I say go in focus on your inner growth and that's where meditation yoga comes from I think for every generation especially this generation yoga meditation is very crucial
very important
त्यो भयो भने चाहिँ once you're stable once your body mind your emotion your energy is stable and balanced you become a more well-rounded person you will do the right thing you will just say the right thing and then it will affect your family your society your community the world so it's like a ripple effect
but I feel like us human beings we're always in rush no
rush because we think something is important but if you look properly what you think is important is not that important what is important is your life the life of the people living around you and your family and the animals the plants and if you change your priorities then you change what is important and when you change what is important you rush for things that you need to take action for example like my soil ko kura gare no if you show the same amount of rush and urgency to save soil then it will be completely different but right now we're focusing on our हाम्रो आफ्नै आइडेन्टिटी आफ्नो इगोलाई कसरी ग्रो गर्ने कसरी फुलफिल गर्ने आफ्नो डिजायर होइन त्यसमा मात्रै फोकस गरेछ नि त सो we've been a very selfish generation के we only include us and our family or people around us. We need to include everyone. When you include everyone, when you become inclusive, then you see the stranger as your own brothers and sisters, and you see this poor little animal as your own family. And when you see everyone as your own family, then you only want to do good for them, right? So the whole spiritual process is inclusiveness and seeing everyone as equal, and everyone is part of yourself or your family. Just not just yourself and people around you, but everyone.
I feel like social media has big impact on this as well, especially news. Like it's really easy to direct people what the news want them to like direct it. Okay?
Yeah, news plays a big role. News media in general, especially mainstream media. I'm talking about. I think YouTube and other social media, they've done a lot of good things. But mainstream media there is a lot of political interest in that, and a lot of information is filtered through layers of systems, and it's filtered, and what we hear or see is only what they want us to hear and see. So we don't see the whole picture. But if you like YouTube, for example, you can see things or hear things that you may not have heard in the story in the news. So in that way,
for example, Harry, Prince Harry को कुरा भइरहेछ नि हैन, but त्यसै नै सोइल को भयो भने कति राम्रो हुन्छ होला हैन.
Definitely. I mean, सुस्तरी भइरहेछ हैन, न्यूजमा नआएको मात्रै हो. हजुर. अरु युट्युबहरुतिर अनि कति युके कै कति शोहरुमा पनि गइसक्यो हैन. हजुर. For example, any podcast like you said, Joe Rogan podcast, and there's so many podcasts it's already out there, no? It's just that enough people are not aware of it. So what we can do to help in this movement is, you don't need to go out and protest and street magara. All you can do is just spend few minutes a day spreading the message and also educate yourself, and some word of mouth हुन्छ कि social media मा हुन्छ कि, just spread the message to as many people as you can.
हजुर. So दाइ आज चाहिँ मेरो बाट चाहिँ यति नै हो हैन. हजुरलाई के थप्न छ भने हल्का भन्दा हुन्छ, any messages or anything personally हजुरलाई audience को लागि.
So I think we talked about धेरै कुरा गरे नि त हैन, different subject को कुरा गरे नि त हैन. But I think I would calm down. I think the main emphasis has to be saving the soil, because saving the soil equals saving life and saving the planet. I don't know timely about पछि showma राख्दाखेरि, I don't know how you put it, but it would be nice to also include a clip of the Soul's movement clip. It's like a short clip, and I think if you can like put a link or like description तिर कता लिंकहरु हुन्छ नि, social media को लिंकहरु. अनि you can also, for the people listening, you can go like to Google, type Save Soil, or go directly to savesoil.org to find more about it. And yeah, I just request everyone to take it seriously and spread the message.
Well, thank you दाइ. आज हजुरले गर्दा मैले नि सोइलको बारेमा धेरै सिके हैन, सोइलको सत्तासँग अरु कुराहरु नि. So I would definitely मैले नि सकेसम्म अब सोइल सेभ गर्न खोज्छु.
Thank you. Welcome. अनि मलाई पनि like I enjoyed your podcast, to be part of this podcast, your second episode, and my best wishes for you and the podcast.
Thank you very much.
You keep spreading the positive message and inspire people to do what they have to do.
Thank you for coming, Dai.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Imagine the country you live in being hit by less and less fertile soil, making crop growing increasingly difficult.
Sandstorm conditions prevail in the Indian capital, and now there are fears of early desertification of the region.
Desertification and erosion are both concerns.
Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Because of that thriving life, everything grows. We eat food, other animals grow, everything happens. because soil is rich. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways. We talk of carbon, we talk of emissions, we talk of pollution at various levels. Before all that, we need to address the most important concern, because there is a misunderstanding in the world. There is a campaign to project civic issues as environmental issues. Right now, if plastic bags are floating around in New York City, this is not an ecological issue, this is a civic issue. If our rivers are polluted, this can be fixed. In 1 or 2 years, if you set up the necessary purification plants and enforce the law, these are civic issues which can be fixed with a little bit of law enforcement and awareness. But the real issue is soil.
The United Nations agencies with enough scientific data, they're clearly saying that we have soil, agricultural soil, for another 80 to 100 crops on the planet. This is 45 to 60 years is what we have agricultural soil. We are calling this as soil extinction. You've heard of dinosaurs going extinct, you have heard of dodos going extinct, but this is soil extinction is what we are looking at. The real problem is soil extinction because in the last 30 years, 80% of the biomass insects have disappeared from the planet, 80%. This is a suicide, this is a real suicide.
So in 45 years' time or 50 years' time, there will be serious food crisis on the planet, it's inevitable. When food crisis comes, well, whoever has the biggest guns will come and take the food. And the chaos and the suffering that we will create for populations around the world is unimaginable. Don't think only the poor people will die. They will kill the rich and rich will die. So this is not to paint a dark picture. This is a reality which has happened many times in our history, and once again it is being predicted by top scientists in the world. So what are we going to do?
Why is soil going away? Where is it going away? See, what is sand becomes soil if you add organic content to it. What is soil becomes sand if you take away all the organic content from it. If you go into a rainforest, the organic content in the soil will be over 70%. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content that has to be there to call soil soil is 3 to 6%. 3% is the most minimum. But today, for example, in India, 62% of India's soil, the organic content is 0.5% or below that. So literally we are on the verge of desertification. This is across the world, this is not in one country. In United States, the way the land has been used in terms of herbicides, weedicides, pesticides, well, we need to understand nearly 82 to 86% of biodiversity is within the first 12 inches of topsoil. When we plow with machines like tractors plow to a depth of 9 to 12 inches and leave it open, this means we are destroying the biodiversity completely. What biodiversity means is, it's the humus in the soil. The word human comes from the word humus. That means this is actually living soil.
So it's very important that soil becomes the focus, because if you put 1/3 to 40% of the land, especially in the tropical world, under tree shade, your climate change could be easily reversed. Land is getting hot simply because it is plowed or it is paved. Land has to go under vegetation, whatever kind, natural grasses, bushes, trees, whatever, because all these are serving the ecological activity. And we must also understand soil is a very significant carbon sink. And soil is the largest water soak on the planet. And soil is the basis of all life. this 36 to 39 inches of topsoil on average around the planet is the basis of 87% of life on this planet. To keep the biodiversity alive is the most important thing that we need to do right now. Unless we start now, this will not happen. As a part of this, we are unfolding a movement called Conscious Planet to bring maximum number of people. Right now, it looks like climate change, ecology, all these are playground for the rich and elite. No, this must change. Individual human beings should become conscious about the danger that we are facing. Ecological issues must become election issues, and political parties must give significance to ecological issues in their manifestos. Governments must be elected for their concern for ecological issues. This needs to happen.
So we are seeing how to bring about a policy recommendation for 192 countries. The rally is starting on 21st of March, which is the equinox day in London. And from London, it's a single lone motorcycle riding through 24 countries, 30,000 kilometers, reaching the Kaveri Basin where we are on ground working in a river basin which is 83,000 square kilometers, and 5.2 million farmers work here.
The very body that we carry is soil. Without soil being rich and well, this body and every other life cannot be well. So in terms of ecology, in terms of climate change, the most important thing is that we need to have a conscious approach as to how we manage our soil, how we rejuvenate our soil, how we revitalize our soil. This conscious approach and creating a conscious planet is what is most important. Without involving large mass of people, this will not become a reality because we are democratic nations. Unless people say this is what they want, that is not going to happen. So let's create a conscious planet.
Let us make it happen.